Hello and welcome to A Northern Perspective. My name is Adam French, and I guess the next half an hour will leave you thinking, what the fuck have I just listened to? Or how do I get the last half an hour of my life back? But basically, I'll just be chatting music and other things for however many minutes with guests each episode. I guess there's not really much more to say than that. I hope you enjoy it.
Get away from the wall! What are you doing?
Calm down, Paul. Calm down.
I'm not. Let's go get a cup of tea.
Could you just get your mum to stay away from the wall just for the time being?
No, she can't stay away from the wall. She got water and plants.
Could she maybe do it with a hose from a distance?
She's got a watering can.
Calm down, Paul. Calm down.
I'm not. I'm fucking sad.
So we're once again in my humble abode, but I'm joined by Mr. Billy Lockett.
Hello.
How's it going?
Yeah, good.
Life's good. On this fragile, what day is it? Friday?
It is a Friday, yeah.
Friday morning.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like a Friday.
We did actually do this yesterday, or we attempted to do this yesterday. So you turned up here and we spent about 3 hours catching up, talking shit and forgetting to record any of it for the podcast.
Yeah, that's the problem, isn't it?
So this is almost take 2, I guess.
Yeah, I feel like we've already run out of things to say.
How have you been? What's been cracking?
Great. Yeah, my mum's on the phone.
Your mum's on the phone?
Hi. Sorry, my phone was calling my mum. I think it must have, Siri must have done it. I've been good. Yeah, I've been great. Busy, which is great, and just getting everything ready for the dreaded debut album.
Yes, yeah. When are you thinking for that? Have you got any?
We don't really have a date actually, but it's in progress.
In progress and underway.
I feel like it's been in progress for about 25 years, but it does feel closer now.
Yeah.
It feels like I've got the songs written, and I'm pretty sure of the sound. So now it's just about recording it.
Yeah. Piecing it together.
Yeah.
Putting some sort of body together. I guess go a bit further back. Like where is it that you're from? You're Northampton, right?
Northampton, yep, which is the middle of England.
Middle of England.
Have you heard that song?
No, not yet. But I'm going to listen to it.
Northampton, adjacent to Birmingham and London. It went to like number 18 in the charts in the 80s.
It sounds like a banger.
It was great. Yeah.
The only thing I know of Northampton is one of my friends, a guy called Rob Adcock, who's like a BBC introducing DJ.
Yeah.
He did a drive time show on Radio Northampton.
Oh yeah.
And he was obsessed, like beyond like unhealthily obsessed with shoes.
Oh,
so
yeah.
He's got sort of the shoe.
Well, yeah, it's a shoe town. It's shoe town.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, our football team's called the Cobblers.
Oh, okay, yeah, makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah, that's pretty much the only claim to fame we had there. And now the factories are basically just flats, so we don't even know.
Well, he went through quite a large phase of his life, just like buying a pair of brogues every other week.
Wow.
And just all the time he sending me pictures of brogues, and I'd be like, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I don't know anything about that, but you know what? There's Kinky Boots was filmed in Northampton.
Oh, mate.
The movie.
Yeah.
And
the factory worker.
That's probably one.
That was a true story, wasn't it?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
And another one of my friends has just literally starred as the factory owner in the
musical.
In the musical of it.
Wow, that's the main guy.
Yeah.
That's a big part.
Joel, he's an incredible actor, actually.
Oh my god.
But yeah, he's literally just done that. So, when did you move away from Northampton? Because you're in London now. Obviously.
Yeah. So I moved to London about 3 years ago.
Yeah.
To a room in Camden. With my girlfriend and 2 cats in one room,
nice.
Which is basically not even supposed to be a bedroom. It was a living room for a 2-bed flat, and so there were 2 other people living in the other bedrooms, and it was an absolute nightmare. Because like every time the estate agent said that, he was coming round, or the landlord was coming for a check, I had to basically dismantle my bed.
Yeah.
And hide it under a bed that was upstairs, and then like turn everything into a sofa and into a lounge just
to make out that you were guests.
Yeah, just to make out like we didn't live there, and it was because I wasn't even technically on the contract. It was the 2 people living in the bedrooms that were, and we had to hide the cats in my girlfriend's car in a box in the boot.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a
so what were you like studying when you came down at first, or were you?
No, so I just sort of. I basically, because when my dad died, I got left a house, did that up and rented it out, and moved and used the money to basically move to London. I mean, I wasn't making much, but just enough to afford a room.
Yeah.
and tried to basically, you know, do all the open mic nights and kind of start again, really, because it's weird when you're a musician in Northampton. You probably get this from Congleton.
Yeah.
If you're even vaguely okay, you're the best. Do you know what I mean? And you just think that you're so good, and you're just like, wow, like
small ponds.
Yeah, it really is. And then you get to London, you realise everybody's really
You're
good.
like, oh shit.
Yeah. And all of a sudden I had to start again, really, from the beginning. So I just did all the open mic nights around Camden, and that was good actually, because there was pretty much an open mic night every day.
Yeah, ideal.
Every day of the week in London there was something. So I just did that and built up a little
bit of an audience in Camden.
A little bit of a fan base, not a fan base, but enough to just sell 100 tickets at my own show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Start something.
Camden was pretty good at that sort of time. Like I remember,
Yeah.
my manager saw me play in Camden for the first time.
Oh, wow.
At the Monarch. Do you remember that?
Yeah, the
place?
Monarch. Yeah, I've played
Did
that a lot.
loads of nights there and support like band for whoever.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then like I was in bands previously as a teenager as well, so we did the Camden circuit then. So that was even prior. So
Yeah,
it's
because when it was
always
the
been a bit of a
Barfly
musical
as well.
Barfly
that's
before
now
it became the Camden
Assembly now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what else was there? There was a load of really cool in the market bit. You went upstairs and there was a little Brazilian bar place that would have that.
There was a little one. I ran a night with one of my friends for a bit called the. It was at the Camden Head. They had like a gig room upstairs. It was a pub, but they just had a random little gig room that you could fill pretty easily.
Yeah, it was
and
like
then we could
20 people.
Yeah,
sold
exactly.
Out. Yeah.
If there was 20 people in there, it looked great. But like, yeah, it just made sense to have somewhere that you could fill easily and have it feel like a proper gig for whoever was playing. So that was cool. But yeah, so going back to sort of your transition from Northampton to London, like, and I was talking about BBC Introducing. You did BBC Introducing in Northampton, right? Mm-hmm. So how did you find all of that?
Well, the weird thing is, in BBC Introducing in London is like really difficult to get on, and I don't even think I've ever really attempted it, really, because I think I tried it once, but that was before I signed, and it was like, it was almost as hard as getting a label.
Yeah.
I felt. But BBC Introducing in Northampton has been great. Like Lau Muttock, he's my guy.
Yeah.
There, and he's one of my best friends, to be honest. I mean, he even gave me my cat.
Really?
Yeah, Barney.
Man,
Yeah, his cat had kittens, so he gave me Barney. So we're pretty close, and even though when I moved to London, he still champions me as a Northampton artist. Do you know what I mean? And I still say that I am, even though I live here.
Yeah.
But it's just about London. It's like the tricky thing with Northampton is that every time something good happens with your career, you normally leave Northampton. Do you know what I mean? So you don't really ever stay there.
Do you go back? Have you got friends there still?
Well, I have to go back because I'm a landlord, so I've got these tenants. But so I've got to go back sometimes and rent rooms and things.
Yeah.
My mum lives sort of around the area, but I don't really anymore, and it's sad really because I do miss it. Because it is home.
Yeah.
But there's a lot, and I have thought a lot about moving back there sometimes because it's only an hour away from London.
Yeah, commutable-ish.
You know, and it's kind of nice. The nice thing about Northampton is when you go out and you bump into someone who, you know, was a friend of your dad's, and they'll tell you a story about him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
You're like,
I
oh wow.
nice.
But you never get that in London.
No,
ever.
of course.
I mean, there's been
one or two.
there's once or twice I've bumped into someone I know in London, and it's mind blowing, and we're both in shock.
I think it's happened to me like literally once or twice.
Yeah.
But when it happens, you're like, oh my god.
Yeah, this is incredible.
This is
But
next
you never
level.
hang out with them. You just be like, all right, see you, bye. I'm got to do my own thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think Northampton is, BBC Introducing wise, has been great. They got me loads of Radio 1 play. They got me loads of like a lot of shows, and Lau has just like constantly plugged all my stuff. And it gives me a lot of advice as well. Whenever I write a new song or if I demo something, I'll send it to him and my management and my label. But I think BBC Introducing do take a step back once you sign. I don't know whether you found that.
Yeah. I guess that's their intention, is to get you to a point where you can
Sign
pick
a deal.
things up for yourself and move forwards, I guess. But it was good for us. Like Rob was amazing for BBC Stoke. He was at the time. So
Yeah,
that was the
I
closest
think
to
I've met
Congleton.
him. I think I
you
met him at
probably
the Lewis
have.
Capaldi gig, actually.
Yeah.
Bristol or
He's
something.
always knocking about. But
Yeah.
he got us like the first thing for us was the Reading and Leeds Festival.
Wow.
Sort of BBC
yeah.
Introducing stuff.
Isn't that what got you signed, basically?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, so like the first couple of guys from Virgin came to that show and we're into it, and then we
Was
got
that Nick?
chatting. Nick Burgess, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he's the head of
He's
your
my
label,
guy now,
isn't he?
yeah.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, no, it's cool. But then we sort of progressed and did London shows onwards from that, and
Yeah.
sort of moved forwards and started releasing music on a label and stuff, and then eventually got to the point of putting together an album and whatever else. But
Yeah.
so where are you at with album? Have you got like songs in mind for it and stuff? Or?
Yeah, well, I've just been writing for almost maybe too long now. But I really enjoy writing, and so it's tricky because they always say, oh, you need to experience life to be able to write a good song. But I think sometimes, yes, but sometimes you just out of nowhere, it can just happen. So you never really know. So for me, I'm just constant. I've been doing writing sessions for about 2 years, and in my head, you can almost never do too many because there's always that one day. Sometimes when I've really not been feeling like writing, I've come out with like one of the best songs I've written. So
a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, and also I like to keep busy. I'm a bit of an ADHD in that way, and I just always want to be working.
Yeah.
So if I'm writing songs in sessions, then I'm happy. So I've been juggling touring with writing and actually not even kind of got to the point of, oh, well, which songs are the good ones?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah,
like,
definitely.
So, and one worry of that is you can sometimes get a bit like buried in songs.
Yeah.
So that you actually can't see the wood from the trees. But I think now I'm just getting to the point where we've sort of said, okay, well, we've written, 200 odd songs. Which ones are we still listening to?
Yeah.
And that's bottled down to about 16.
Survival of the fittest a little.
Yeah, which is, I think, a really good way of doing it. So now we're just like, actually got a meeting on Wednesday to actually talk about which songs are going to be recorded on the album. So, so hopefully, we'll have nailed it down to 12 maybe. I don't know how many. How many do you even have nowadays?
We've got 12. I've got 12
12
in mine. Yeah. We were toying with like a few more, but then it was just like, I don't know. Too many is too many.
Yeah, but then again, I don't even know whether now the days of Spotify and things. It's almost like, you could have 30 on the album, and would it really make much of a difference?
I mean, if you're Drake, it'll make you a few more quid.
Yeah.
Other than that,
but I guess the problem is nowadays, I was talking to Circle Waves about this. A lot of the time, what they found with albums, and what a lot of people are finding with albums, is that the first 4 everyone listens to, and then they and the popularity of as you go down, it's just down and down and down. Yeah. Not because of any sort of quality difference, but just
skip rate.
People just stop listening after 4 songs.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They'll do something else.
I get you. So what's next in terms of like, have you got a next single or whatever in mind yet? Or
yes, we have, and I think I can probably talk about it because this will probably be going out when I'm announcing it.
Ideal.
Yeah.
Quick plug.
Yeah, so it's called Every Time You're High, and I think it's brilliant. I think it's brilliant.
Shameless.
No, I really do. I listened to it on the way here again, and with songs like, every time you have a release, you, as an artist, you will listen to it so much before it comes out that by the time it comes out, you kind of hate it because you've gone through every single aspect of how someone could hear it, and you killed it for yourself. So you lose that excitement from when you first wrote it. But weirdly with this one, I'm still into it. I'm getting a little bit of that kind of, oh, but is it a bit rubbish? But then I'm like, no, it's amazing. And it's like,
oh my God.
Do you know what I mean? But I think the weird thing is, this is the first song that I basically have kind of taken full control in terms of, I was the one who wanted to release it. The label were, some parts of the label were really into it, but some of them weren't as much, and I've very much been in control of the sound, and had been very kind of anal about what I wanted.
Yeah.
But this song is exactly what I want people to think of me as.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I think it's a good point to be out if you've like tried the water in other ways, and then you've come to a point where you're like, no, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
And then if it is like, you're going at your own hand, do you know what I mean? So
exactly. And then
it's going to be of your own making, and
exactly.
failure is going to make of your own making.
Exactly. And I think in the back of my mind, it's like, I think music is all down to like opinion and taste. And if you have a sort of general taste, then I guess your music will appeal to more people. I think my taste is quite weird, but I think the people who will like this sound will love it, and will buy the tickets and will stay a fan for ages. But I'm just not sure I'm not sure. I'm not sure how it's going to go down because it is very much darker. And I think as well, like with songs, you've got to have like something to say, and it's got to be real to you. And I think all of my songs have kind of been about, you know, the loss of my dad and the dealings and how to deal with that.
Yeah.
And to be honest, most of that is pretty dark. So I think my songs are dark.
Yeah.
And every time I've written a kind of like cheery, upbeat, happy song, it's felt wrong because
it's not how you felt as a person.
Because it isn't really what I mean, now I'm pretty happy. It's only, you know, in the past couple of months, things are going well and I'm a happy person, but you know, this album has been written through a long time of it not being good.
Yeah.
So, and I kind of like that because it makes it really real.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
And it's going to mean something to you personally.
Yeah,
on a
yeah,
different
totally.
level as well.
Yeah.
I mean, you mentioned your dad a couple of times, and a lot of people will know, but your dad was an incredible artist as well.
Yeah, really crazy good, actually.
I've seen some of his paintings, and they are next level good.
Yeah, they're so good. They're so good. It's really a shame, actually, because he never really made it, if I'm honest. I mean, he got recognition. It's kind of a bit similar to the music world, actually, but he was an amazing fine artist in the 70s when people wanted quality, and then I hate to say it, but you know, when they did, and all of a sudden all of a sudden modern art came along, and now I'm not going to be that guy that slags off modern art. All I'm saying is, you know, putting a dot on a canvas all of a sudden became worth millions, and someone actually painting, you know, they're spending weeks on a, you know, painting this beautiful painting.
Because your dad's artwork is very much like...
It's really figurative.
It's about beautiful painting.
Yeah,
and,
it's like really figurative, and it looks very real and lifelike.
It is incredible.
And but, you know, I think a lot of people started to just not want to spend their money on that. So it kind of all went a bit like pear-shaped for him. And he was a very bad businessman as well. I mean, he made some terrible business decisions. You know, I was 8 years old once, and he asked me what to do. He got this offered this publishing deal, and they were going to take.
What now?
They were going to take like 90%, which in the art world is pretty fair. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
And give him 10, but it would have been 10% of millions. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he asked me when I was 8 what I would do. And I said, obviously, I wouldn't do it because it's 90%.
What? So he went with
yeah,
you?
so he went with me. And he just basically, oh God! And I always think back to that. It's like he always treated me like an adult, even when I was 8, to the point where he'd trust me on a business
Over
decision.
his lawyer.
Yeah, exactly. You know, from my mum telling him do it. I was like, nah, bad deal.
It's a good relationship to have, man. It's a good relationship to have. He's quite a big influence on a few of your songs, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, I mean, pretty much on everything. Pretty much everything that I do is influenced by him.
Yeah.
But not because he was great and everything was amazing, but just because it was such a strange. When I think back to that time, it was such a strange world. It was like, you know, just me and my dad. He was he had a lot of issues with drugs and drink, and he was a chain smoker. You know, he smoked 2 fags before he got out of bed. Do you know what I mean? This guy would literally
heavy duty.
Yeah, and he was a total party animal. And so, as I was growing up, it was just me and him. Because my mum left when I was 8.
Yeah.
Just after that deal.
Right, fuck this, I'm off. You're going to listen to him over me.
And so I grew up with my dad, and it wasn't really a father-son relationship. It was more
Mates.
2 guys. We were mates, but we were also messes. Do you know what I mean? So it was crazy, and there were always like all of his models would just kind of live in the house. Because he would paint beautiful women,
Yeah.
so all of them would just stay in the rooms in the house, and it was just a constant party from the age of 8 to 20 when he died, basically. So, but not but sometimes it was like a dark party. Do you know what I mean? It was like, it was almost like I'd wake up for school and there'd just be. Just you know what I mean, like that residue of a party, and it just still kind of, and it would just always be going on. So it wasn't a very normal life, but my dad was really like supportive emotionally. He was really like, he'd always make sure I got to the gigs on time, and every time I was writing a song, I'd be desperate to hear it and help write lyrics. And
I was going to say, I guess the great thing about your dad being an artist is that he's going to support you and
he's
wanting
creative.
to be one as well.
Yeah, exactly. He taught me that you can do you don't have to do a normal job.
Yeah.
Although it can kill you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And that's what it did for him. It was like,
and the pressures are very different.
it was crazy with art as well, because one day we would be broke, and then the next minute he would sell 2 paintings worth 10 grand each, and we would basically have a big party for 2 months. You know what I mean? Until we run out of food, and then we'd have to live on spam again for the next couple of months.
Oh my god.
So it's a really unusual life. But the problem is he wasn't very good at the kind of the normal parent stuff. So
the discipline bit.
Yeah. So one of the first things I can remember him teaching me is how to roll a joint. Do you know what I mean? And whereas my mum was trying to get me to go to homework clubs and like to get me out of the pub, because I was always at the pub with my dad playing pool and things, and my mum was always trying to get me out of that and get me to do algebra homework. It was like I just didn't want to do it, and I didn't want to do anything but play pool, hang out with my dad and party, and occasionally do a bit of music.
Yeah, but unconventional is good if you're close to each other. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. I think it taught me what not to do.
In
later life.
I get you.
Although it hasn't really taught me much, because I've been a mess for a while. But now I'm out the other side. Yeah,
it's good. No, it's good. It's like that's a life journey, isn't it? It is what it is,
yeah.
and everything that's happened so far has brought you to this point. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
If you changed any of it, then it could be very different. You could be sat in a fucking solar panel office like I
that's
was 3
the
years
thing,
ago.
isn't it? A lot of the time in this job with music, I do moan about this isn't going right, or that's not happening, or why is this not good enough, and then I just think, you know what? Most people would kill to be doing this. Do you know what I mean? Like, and. We're not rich, but we got just enough money to keep making music, and the lifestyle's great, and we get to tour, and it's really fulfilling.
Yeah.
There's a thing I always get a bit bogged down about. Oh god, Instagram's not going well, or I just put a song out on Spotify and it hasn't got that playlist or something like that. But then you write a song in a session and you come out and you feel incredible, and you've got this massive buzz of like, oh my god, I've just written this song that made me feel absolutely amazing, and I can't wait to play it to people, and you're like, oh yeah, that's why I'm doing this.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Do you know what? I watched this video ages and ages ago on YouTube. It was Alan Watts narrating this thing about like money can't buy happiness or something.
Yeah.
But it was all about like schools teaching kids to work in order to spend money, and to work in order to spend money, and it was just this ongoing cycle, and then they bring their kids up to do the same, and there's this just repetition of nobody actually being happy. It's almost autonomy, but and from that point onwards I was just like, actually, if I'm going to work hard at something I really hate, then why not try working really hard at something I actually love? And then that will bring me all the fulfillment that money never can.
Exactly. Don't they say if you do something you love, you never work a day in your life?
Yeah,
That's
absolutely,
the thing,
that kind of thing.
And I think, but at the same time, a lot of my friends will say, oh, it's not really work though, is it? And you're like, well, even though I love it, there are times when I'm like, if I've been on the road for we just done a 4-month tour, do you know what I mean? That was work.
The ELO one.
Yeah, and it was great. And because the reason it was so long is because we did the ELO tour, and then we went straight on tour with Lewis Capaldi pretty much the day after.
Yeah.
And it was great, but it was work, and it was tiring, and long hours, and really early mornings, which were really hard.
And there's also there's also a lot of pressure that people that aren't in this world don't see, because you only see the outside glamorous nature of everything that people put on Instagram, but ultimately there's so many stresses and
there's low times. I think the low times are when you're at home and it's not quite it's not as busy for you, because I think the thing I've learnt with music now, which I've accepted, and that's helped me a lot, is to know that you have ups and downs, and the downs are good because they give the ups that time to breathe. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, but the problem is when you're on your downtime, everyone on Instagram seems to be on their uptime. Do you know what I mean? Like everyone.
Never trust Instagram.
One thing I've realised in this world is like, because as up and coming artists, we're kind of in like that limbo of not starting out, so we're not like, just picked up a guitar, trying to get one day I'll make it, and we're not kind of, there in terms of even like the Lewis Capaldi thing. Do you know what I mean? Or even higher, the Ben Howard side of things. So you're kind of in this weird stage where no one really talks about how you're supposed to feel or what you're supposed to do, because you're either like not big or big in a lot of people's lives. And so I think that's been really hard for me, because I'm kind of like, every time I am worried about something, I'm kind of like, but is this normal? Am I strange? So
Absolutely.
I think this is a really good podcast, because you're actually going into the minds of those people in that stage.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
And I think a lot of artists that, like, especially someone like me, I would really appreciate listening to a podcast like this, because it would finally make you go, do you know what, you're not alone. Like when you go to bed and you're petrified that it's not going to get New Music Friday, or Annie Mac isn't going to play it, or or it's just not going to happen, or that gig that is 1,000 cap and you've only done 500 tickets, it's a month away. Like it's okay, and like you're not alone. Everyone is feeling like this.
Do you know what? I was having a conversation the other day about like labels needing mental health teams.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Just, but almost like, so there's a therapy, or like almost like the fucking Jeremy Kyle show has aftercare.
Yeah.
Like if you get dropped from a label or whatever,
you're just alone.
You're completely in the abyss, and it's like, well, actually, maybe there's some sort of entitlement that you have. Given your life or however many years to a certain label, whatever, that they should actually say, well, yeah, we'll make sure that you're all right at the end of it.
It's so interesting, isn't it? Because it's almost kind of like, oh, you don't work for us now, so see you in a bit.
Yeah, it's weird.
And that's another slip, because when you're signed, you do get into that habit of thinking, oh, you work for them. Whereas it's a strange thing, isn't it? Because they don't work for you, but you don't really work for them, but you're supposed to be a team.
Yeah.
Which sometimes it feels that way.
But it is. It's a weird relationship, and it's a very alien relationship to anyone that's not been in it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I think that's the thing, isn't it?
And that's why you get comments like, "Oh, you've not got a real job," or blah blah blah.
Yeah.
That's not a real job. That's just fun and games. It's glamorous, whatever. It's 'cause people don't really get the stresses and torments that go with it.
Yeah. And I think as well, there's a lot of pressure on. I think there's a lot of pressure on trying to make it, because you're in the public eye as well. So if it doesn't do particularly well, I always worry that, are people going to see that, and they're going to realise, say you do one single and it doesn't do that well, and now what I've realised is people don't really care, they don't notice, and they don't really care. And I think that's
the only person that's hyper-analysing your career is you.
Exactly, yeah. And no one really pays attention. Everyone's sort of so busy looking at their own stuff that they don't really look at anyone else's.
They either like it or they don't.
Yeah, and I think that's a good thing, because when you do something really good and it does stick, that's when they notice.
Yeah,
and there is something really rewarding about that. But I guess the problem I've had for a long time is I'm still trying to look for that hit. I don't know whether you're finding that, but that one song that doesn't even need to be a hit necessarily. I mean, what is a hit anymore these days? But it needs to be a song that does 80 million on Spotify and goes. Do you know what I mean? And it just gets those players and it resonates.
As far as like majors are concerned, I guess.
Yeah, they just want. But then again, I feel like every artist has that song in them. That one song that just. It's the right place, right time, and it goes. I just wish that someone could sort of come. I could hire someone.
Is, like, a lot of the time, no one knows what that song is until after it's come out.
Yeah, I know.
So everyone
that's the problem, isn't it?
Afterwards, everyone's going to claim that they knew.
Oh yeah,
I saw that come in. I knew it was that one. That was always the one. And it's like, no, you didn't.
Yeah, exactly. I think I just wish I could hire someone to just come over and listen to all
listen to
200 songs
catalog.
and be like, all right, that one's top 10.
Yeah.
That one's good. That one's top 5.
Is shit.
This one is never going to happen. And it would be so interesting, because you just think, but it's basically like just going into the future and putting them all out and seeing what happens. Isn't it? But then again, at the same time, it's all down to timing and what you did, whether you did like a good radio thing the day before, or what tours you've been on, or whether you did a viral video. Or, there's all these different things now, or what playlist it was on. You could put a song out, be completely unsigned, unknown, put a song out, it goes on New Music Friday in America, and you're massive.
Yeah.
Basically, you don't need to have played any shows or have any experience or have done writing sessions or even have a label. You can just be massive, right out of nowhere, which is good and bad.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Because it means people who aren't quite ready for it get it too early, and the people that are ready for it have a hell of a lot more competition they wouldn't necessarily have had.
Absolutely. And it's almost like better. It's better now to be an overnight sensation, and easier to be an overnight sensation if you get all your ducks in a row first before even showing the world anything.
Oh god, yeah.
Than it is to be around for a bit and then release and build slowly. I don't know. It's a weird one.
But I guess labels could make that happen in the past, couldn't they?
Yeah.
They could kind of just be like, right, we've got a lot of money and we're just going to make this work. Yeah. Whereas I think you know, with Spotify nowadays,
You can't really force.
obviously
the public into-
labels can help and stuff, and obviously they do have the meetings and push it, but at the same time, obviously Spotify are very much their own beast.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
yeah.
And they do, which is a really nice thing because it means they try not to be too biased.
Well, they try not to be influenced at all by
No,
labels, don't they?
no,
So-
not at all, exactly. And as well, like, you got to think about Spotify. It's basically a tech company, really. It just runs on algorithms. So if people like a song, they're going to play it more. It's going to get
And
heard
they'll
more.
get shown similar music and blah blah
Yeah,
blah.
exactly.
blah.
And it just works in that way, which is, I think, a good thing in the fact that it means that the songs that get played a lot do end up getting the recognition they deserve. But the bad thing is that tech isn't a brain with like feelings who genuinely likes a song. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's not creative and it's not passionate. It's just numbers.
Yeah, algorithms is a scary word to talk about music with, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I still don't know what it means. So many label people have tried to explain it, but I reckon they don't even know either.
It's just guesswork, innit? They're guessing.
Yeah.
And so coming back to like London and how you got here and stuff, like
Yeah.
what did you miss most about Northampton when you got to London?
I miss the community side of things. That was a bit of. I mean, I still miss that. London's a very kind of. It's quite a lonely place, weirdly, even though it's so busy. I really miss the kind of, you know, I'll bring a keyboard down to the pub and we'll all just have a jam and it'll be fine.
Yeah,
Whereas
yeah.
London's very much, even the open mic nights in London is, you have to get there super early, put your name
Yeah,
on
sign up
on a
3 months
slot.
in advance.
Yeah, and like, you know, go online and make sure that you like organise with someone to play. And even then you wait all night and you don't get a slot. I mean, that's happened to me so many times.
Yeah, I can believe.
But yeah, so there was a lot of that community side, and just the it's a lot more relaxed. I think the thing about any small town is that it's not life in the fast lane. Do you know what I mean? Which is really nice because it's relaxing. But the problem is, I know that if I did move back to Northampton, I feel like I might get a bit left behind by the pace of London.
Right, I'm with you. Yeah, it's hard, isn't it? I think that like the thing about London is if you want to do anything in the arts, music, you know, fashion, whatever it is,
It's the place, isn't
place
it?
to
Yeah.
do
As
that.
soon as I was trying for about 6 years when I was in Northampton, and just getting kind of nowhere really. And then when I came to London, I got a record deal in 5 months of being here, pretty much. I mean,
I remember the last gig I played in Congleton was in the park. It was called like, I think it was just Party in the Park or something like that. Or, no, it's called Holler Festival.
oh, what, like holla?
Yeah, exactly. But then there was literally, I think, about 10 people in this field that could have held like 1,000.
Oh yeah.
And I came away from that
Yeah.
almost crying and just being like, I'm gonna fucking quit. What am I actually doing? I am not doing this anymore.
Yeah.
But then literally the week after that is when we got the call from Rob about BBC introducing stages at Reading and Leeds. So
Wow.
if that hadn't come through, I probably would have quit music.
Wow, really?
I was that low about it. I had like, you know when you have a run of gigs that are just like you and 6 bar staff or something.
Yeah.
And some
I've had
bloke
some
at the back
bad
going,
ones.
"Oh, you shit!" Shut up."
And the barman's just smashing bottles in a bin, like
and trying to shout at the other bar girls and that he's more interested in his own fucking Tinder profile than he is in the gig. That sort of shit.
I did one in Barnsley actually called Shindig Festival, and it was literally 2 people there, and one guy was just shouting like, "Do you know any Chaz and Dave?
Chaz and Dave,
play your waddy waddy." Fucking hell, man, this is the worst.
Chaz and Dave is a strong request.
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah. I didn't know any.
One of my friends lived in what's it called again? Barnsley.
Barnsley,
for a bit.
yeah, Barnsley.
He lived in Barnsley. Went to uni. So I was in bands as a teenager, and the band split up so that Jake, the bassist, and Sam, the guitarist, could go to university. And Sam,
in
they
Barnsley?
were both going to Leeds. Sam ended up in Barnsley, and it was a bit like, I'm not sure this is what I signed up for. But bless him, like he stuck it out. But like the band kind of folded at that point, and that's when I went on to start doing solo stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then it got to the point where I'd done that for like a year, the solo thing for about a year, and then I got to this point of that Holler Festival where it's like, fuck this.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? What
It's
am I
not
even
working.
doing? This is killing me.
Yeah.
I go to bed at night just not sleeping because
because what am I doing with my
you
life?
are wasting your
life. You know
life.
what? My mum said to me, I remember just before I signed the deal, I was probably in about 30 grand's worth of debt. I'd just done this tour. I had a really
For what? For
bad
music?
manager, and he booked me this tour. And I was like, how are we going to afford this? He was like, I'll be all right, be fine.
Be all right.
Yeah, it'll be all right. And then...
so he took the loan out?
So basically, no, my mum lent me, like, an absolute fortune, basically. And I took a full band on tour. No one came to the shows. It was dead. It was a 6-day tour. I mean, Glasgow was abysmal. And then I came back and I was in, like about 30 grams worth of debt. My mum basically subbed me because I hadn't paid any of the band or the sound man or anything because I just hadn't got any money.
Right.
And she was like, if you were a shop, you would have closed.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, you've got to think like that.
Yeah.
And it made me think, maybe I should stop this. But, about, a couple of months after that, we did a show at King's Cross and Pancras, and Warner came down and pretty much sort of came backstage and wanted to do a deal there and then, basically. So it was it just shows that's when everything starts to go well, when you're about to quit.
Yeah, very true. Do you know what, like, that story's pretty common as well.
Yeah.
Like, people get to the point where they're thinking, is this actually going to work?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden something
But
happens.
even when you sign, though, I still have that feeling of, God, is it going to work? And when I did sign, I kind of thought, oh, well, it has worked. But then you quickly realise that, no, this is where it starts now.
Well, I very much changed my perception of a record deal as soon as I was in one. It was like, this is very much a job interview with a trial period.
Yeah.
It's an open door, but you've got to properly walk through it and do the job
and
properly.
really hope that it works.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
a lot of it, you do feel like it is kind of not down to you. You kind of just have to hope that people like what you do. But that's the wrong way to think about it, because if you start making music for the public, it will sound crap, and they'll hear it and they'll see through that.
As if you've not done it for yourself.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's what I've realised now is with the music I'm making. It's like I need to make sure that it's real to me, and if I believe it, then my fans will hopefully get on board.
Get on board, absolutely.
Yeah. So hopefully this will do that.
Big fat fingers crossed.
Yeah.
A couple of things before we go. I've got a couple of gifts for you.
Yeah.
So one is a phrase from the north. You're kind of more northern than London, I guess. But
East Midlands.
I doubt you'll have heard this.
Yeah.
So the gift is me old fruit, which is a term of endearment.
Me old fruit.
Do you know it?
Me old fruit.
Oh, I can't gift you something you already know.
Me old fruit.
Me old fruit. Do you have that?
Fruit.
In Northampton,
we
do
don't
have that?
have it, but we know it.
Yeah. So that's very much like, that's well up there with the top 3
old
favourite
fruit.
Stoke terms.
Wow, do people in London not know that?
I very much doubt it. If you go up to somebody in London, imagine if you did it to a stranger as well. You walk into somebody on the train and go, right, me old fruit.
Yeah,
They'd be like, excuse me, what?
Yeah, what are you selling?
What are you selling? No, I don't want to buy it. Go away. Leave me alone. And the next gift is, again, a little Staffordshire favourite.
Oh, wow.
I gave Reese a pack of these the other day.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is oatcakes.
Oh, lovely oatcakes.
Have you had oatcakes before?
These are my favourite type of
Have you,
oatcakes as well.
have you actually had oatcakes before?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, and my dad used to be really big on them because he had a bad stomach a lot of the time. So oatcakes.
So he's bang into his oatcake.
Yeah, it squashes it in.
Yeah, well, okay,
It's
fair enough,
really good
fair
for
enough.
that. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I've failed on
Yum.
the gift giving front. I've really fucked it.
Yeah, I know. But I wouldn't buy them myself, but I'll have them if they're free. I'll
They
have
taste good. Just have it, mate. Bang, loads of cheese on it, loads of
Yeah.
meat, whatever you can find.
it.
Just,
Yeah.
whack in the microwave for a
Thanks,
little bit.
mate.
Anytime, literally anytime you want. And then the last little thing before we go is a little quick fire round of northern cliches, which
Great.
is, I guess, just to be answered banging or shit,
Yes.
depending on how you feel about each one.
Okay, so I answer banging or shit.
Yeah.
Got it.
You ready?
Yeah.
Rich tea,
Banging.
oatcakes.
What's the middle? What's the middle ground? Shangin?
We'll go shangin' if you like. Shanging's good. Shangin'.
I've created a new feature for this
Shangin'.
podcast.
That's my gift to next week's guest. Northampton-ish phrase, shangin'.
Shangin'.
So
right.
oatcakes is shangin'.
Right.
Next up's Gary Barlow.
Oh, shit.
Robbie Williams.
Oh, shitter.
All you can eat buffet.
Banging?
Chippy tea.
What's that?
Chippy tea. Fish and chip shop. Chippy tea. Have that as your gift that you didn't
that's
know.
my
There's your
gift.
gift. There's your gift. Chippy tea.
Chippy tea.
Chippy
Banging.
tea.
Yeah.
Banging. A pint of beer for £3 or less.
Oh, banging.
And-
It doesn't exist.
Very much missed.
Yeah.
Speaking to strangers on public transport.
Shit.
Phoenix Nights.
What?
Phoenix Nights. You've not heard of Phoenix Nights?
What?
What the fuck,
What?
man?
What? No
Oh
one's
my
heard of this.
God.
What is this?
This is the opposite of Quickfire now.
What is this?
Phoenix Nights is like Peter Kay's sketch show with...
This is crazy because I'm a huge fan of Peter Kay.
Well, that was my next question.
Yeah.
So that's good. But
I'm like
basically,
the biggest.
if you like Peter
But
Kay and you haven't
I've
watched...
never heard of Phoenix Nights.
What the...
I've watched everything he's done on YouTube countless times.
You have to watch Phoenix Nights. It's next
Wait a
level
minute, is
good.
that with Paddy McGuinness as well?
Yeah.
Okay, I've heard about this.
Oh, no, Max and Paddy... Is Paddy in Phoenix Nights?
Is it Paddy McGuinness and Peter Kay and they go on like a holiday
No,
together?
no, you're thinking of Max and Paddy, what's
Big
it called?
Adventure or something.
Road to Nowhere or something.
Oh, okay, yeah, no. Right, well, yeah, right. Okay, here we go.
Right. Let's start again, let's go. Phoenix Nights.
I still don't know. I can't comment. I don't know what it is. I can't comment on it. Right,
Okay.
don't know it.
Hang on, start again. Phoenix Nights.
Banging.
Never heard of it, ever.
Never heard of it.
Peter Kay in general,
Yeah, banging.
and Roadworks on the M6.
Shit.
Proper shit.
Why would that
Really
be?
shit.
Who says banging to that?
Really shit.
Unless you've got a load of new demos to get through.
Yeah, exactly. I just like to leave it on a really sour, miserable note. But yeah, Billy Lockett, thank you for coming, mate. It's been a pleasure having you.
Great, cheers.
I'll see you again very soon. Nice one.
Get away from the wall! What are you doing?
Calm down, Paul, calm
I'm
down.
not. Let's get a cup of tea.
Could you just get your mum to stay away from the wall just for the time being?
No,
And
she
then
can't stay with me. She got water and plants.
could she maybe do it with a hose from a distance?
She's got a watering can.
Calm down, Paul, calm down.
I'm not. I'm fucking sad.